Welcome to Brainstorium. I'm Anna Tizard, award-winning dreampunk and deeply weird fantasy author. And yes, that's me and my fiction that's deeply weird. Explore and imagine with me the most unexpected story ideas using the surrealist word game of Exquisite Corpse. Find out more and join in at annatizard.com. This is a storytelling challenge unlike anything you've tried before. Hello imaginative people, I'm Anna Tizard and this is episode 21 of Brainstorium. I hope you had a good break over the holidays and that January has been gentle on you. I definitely needed the time out in the end and it ensured that I am now, as predicted, raring to go and ready for more story ideas. Besides entering a state of semi-hibernation and then spending much of January trying to drag myself out of that state, I have been busy reviewing my story inventory. And yes, I do have an actual spreadsheet with notes about all my stories in progress or finished, because without this, I would definitely lose material. There are times when I handwrite something in an exercise book during my commute to work, for example, and if I didn't label the pages properly at the top and then make a note in my inventory that it exists, I would probably just forget all about it when I move on to another story. And because I like to let stories rest between drafts, that's going to be the moment when I forget about the story. So yes, a particular issue with me, potentially. Now, last year I mentioned there are a couple of themes that are emerging of their own accord, it would seem, and that what I'd really like to do is pull together the best stories I've written into separate collections with their own specific overarching theme. I just think it makes for a better reader experience when there's something that ties them together. Now, I can tell you now with some confidence that the themes will be portals and unusual magic and a watery theme. I think I've talked about the water theme before, but the other one, portals and unusual magic, actually feels quite broad for me, like a catch-all, because these are the things I seem to end up writing about most of the time. Is it cheating? No, I don't think it's cheating. We all have to work to our strengths, and I've simply observed that this is what I tend to write about at this time anyway, and so it makes sense to make that a theme. And then on the other side, anything that happens to have water in it, like creatures of the deep, rivers, any kind of magic or characters to do with water, can simply go in the other book. So I have quite a few stories that fit into these categories already, but mostly into the portals and magic theme. In fact, if you listen to the Christmas special show, The Bear and the Rediscovering Portcullis will definitely fit into this theme. And you might remember the story about Axolotl, an aging pop star dabbling in dark magic to steal youth from a younger star. I've since developed that story a little bit further. I've also been drafting another interpretation of the Gargoyle Exquisite Corpse. You may recall the story called Overcast, which is published in an anthology called Midwinter Magic and Mayhem. Details on my website. And it was using the Exquisite Corpse, the long-tailed mystic learned the secrets of the Overcast Gargoyle. It's such a good Exquisite Corpse, I just couldn't help myself. So now I've been developing a story on a struggling author who goes under a bridge and finds another world where her ideas come from. And of course there's a gargoyle in it. Plus there are other stories I've drafted but not told you about because they were either just too green or that I wrote before I start the podcast. All in all, at the time of recording, I have enough stories in mature drafts for half of one book. That is half of the stories I'd need for the portals and magic theme. For the water theme, I have slightly less, almost half a book's worth, but with most of them in early stages of drafting, so they'll need quite a bit of work. But there's one that's actually already published, The Gravity of Dreams, which is about a haunted pirate ship, but very light-hearted. You may have heard me talking about this one before. That one can go into the watery themed book, and actually you can read it at the moment on my other fiction page. It was published by For Page and Screen, a literary magazine. Will I include the Midnight Ship in the water-themed book? I don't think so. That really would feel like cheating to me. And I like having that as a separate release on its own. And Emily, my cover designer, did such an incredible job with the cover. I think I just want to keep that as it is, a special one-off story in its own right, published on its own. I'm so excited to start fishing for new story ideas using your words mixed at random and the weirdness of pure imagination. Who knows what's coming up next? And yes, I am going to keep a little eye on what crops up for anything that could fit into either of these emerging themes, so that I build up enough stories to put together a book collection for release in 2023. Watch this space. But at the same time, I want to be open to any story idea. That's the beauty of the randomness of Exquisite Corpse, and what it gives us as storytellers and travellers of the weird depths of our imaginations. So, without further ado, let's see what's coming up in the Socks of Destiny. Yes, indeed. And for those who haven't played before or listened to the podcast before, an Exquisite Corpse is a randomised sentence made up of the following sequence: describing word noun, action, describing word noun. And you can, of course, join in and send me some words on my play page at annatizard.com. And this is, of course, why I have 3 separate Socks of Destiny for the 3 types of entries. Just have a look in the first sock. What's the first word? Aha, it's from Fraser Armitage. Livid. Ooh, an angry word. Okay, let's see who or what was livid. In the noun sock we have something from, it's a Twitter ID, Yashal_Chisti. Lucifer, oh my goodness. Livid Lucifer. Right, this is a dark start to the year, isn't it? The action sock will give us, oops, I'm getting caught up. This is from Paul Thomas. Didn't want to kill. Wow, a livid Lucifer has a change of heart. That's really interesting. But was he being forced to kill someone? Or is he changing his mind for some reason? Oh, that's really interesting action there. Right, let's get our second describing word, which is from a Twitter ID called Weird Micro. Deep. Ooh. Deep. What or who was deep? Oh, gosh. Am I going to make this a water-themed thing if it's, into the deep? Or am I jumping ahead of myself? I just don't know. Right, who's this from? Oh, this is from Anonymous. Android. Can you kill an android? Is that the reason why Lucifer decided not to? Oh gosh. Okay, let me just read the whole Exquisite Corpse out. we have the first Exquisite Corpse of 2023 is the livid Lucifer, or simply livid Lucifer, didn't want to kill the deep android. Fascinating. I'm going to have to pause and write this down because that always helps me. Feel free to do the same and do a little brainstorm of your own, or continue with me. Perhaps it's time to pour the green tea. I think it might be time. Get a little bit of help from the old green stuff. Right. This is interesting actually about the deep android, because I feel like we're at a time in reality, okay, this isn't just in my imagination or whatever, but in reality, we're at a time when people are getting a little bit anxious about AI. There are lots of new AI applications. I don't know if you've come across this, where there are quite a few that are out there. I can't remember the names of them, but people are using them to sort of brainstorm stories, which is kind of exciting and frightening all at once, and also to create art and things like that. So there are lots of concerns, about, is this going to take away the jobs of illustrators and artists? Potentially. Has it already done that? I don't know. And might it affect the future of writing? Let's not go there, people. That's just too scary for the likes of me. But the idea of a deep android, there's this idea that is often, I suppose, in films and books, when it's about AI, you're always going to get that idea of, are they actually alive or conscious in some way? And could this be the reason why even Lucifer, even though he was livid for some reason, didn't want to kill the deep android? And the fact that, according to this Exquisite Corpse, which is all about facts, of course it is, that the Exquisite Corpse suggests that it is possible to kill an android, because it is deep, because it has developed a soul. I also like the way that you've got an extremely ancient idea with Lucifer. Okay, that goes way back. The idea of this character of Lucifer, of a personification of evil, from the burning fires of hell. And then you've got an android, a very modern is it a being? I don't know. I think this story is pushing us towards a sense of, or this potential story is pushing us towards a sense of an android being a living thing, especially as I suppose an android is a robot that has a humanoid form rather than just being a random robot arm or something that works in a factory to create cars and all of that kind of thing. And why would Lucifer first of all want to kill them, and then second of all decide not to? Because I feel like there's a change of heart here. Does Lucifer actually kill people, or is it a case of, I thought he just tempted people to create more havoc in their lives, or be tempted to do the wrong thing, which then leads to self-destruction, that kind of thing. But he didn't want to kill the deep android. Perhaps an android isn't capable of self-destruction. Perhaps that's a purely human thing. Interesting. Let's go a little bit further with this though, because it's just this word deep that's getting to me. The idea of going deep into something, or the idea of a deep mind of an android, if that is possible. What if the android thinks that it can become human, or better than a human, and it goes deep into its own mind, if it could do that. I'm not sure how it would create a mind, but maybe just by thinking, it starts to develop a mind, and it goes deep, and then maybe it goes into hell to challenge Lucifer, because it sees the cruelty going on around the world. It started to care about humans. Yeah. But then this Lucifer, who is livid that this jumped up robot has found its way into his realm, challenging his authority, okay, to lead humans into temptation, self-destruction, all of that kind of thing. How dare it? And yet Lucifer doesn't want to kill it after all, because perhaps he sees a potential there. Because if the android really is becoming like a human, then his mind too can be twisted. This is a little bit dark. A little bit dark and a little bit deep. So I think it's time to go for our second Exquisite Corpse of 2023. And digging deep. What do we have here? This is from Laurie Alden Haluta, and the word is tenacious. Okay, let's get our noun. There's a whole bunch together. Let's just pull these apart. This one is from me. Haha. Calculator. I don't even remember writing that. I don't remember writing that. That's often the way. They just get buried at the bottom of the sock. Oh my goodness. A tenacious calculator. What is going on with automated things, machines today? Thinking machines. Okay, so this is from Paul Benfield. Gazed from behind the curtain at. Okay, so we've got a calculator that's tenacious. It clings to things. It wants to know. It won't let go. And it's spying on someone. Right? Why? Why would it spy on someone? Let's get our next word, which is a describing word. Oops. This is from Alessandro Bozzo, and this is prismatic. Ooh, prismatic. Makes me think of lots of refracted colours and things. I feel like this calculator is jealous of of something prettier than it. Oh my goodness. Maybe we're in a factory or something and other strange things are being made alongside very ordinary things. Okay, what was prismatic? What have we got here? If I can just... this is from Parveen. Okay, unicorn. Not a machine or gadget or device at all. Or is it? Okay, I'm going to have to pause again to just jot this down. Right, let's see. So I'll read the whole thing out to you now. The tenacious calculator gazed from behind the curtain at the prismatic unicorn. Okay, I think we're going to have to get creative with these described nouns. So a tenacious calculator, it doesn't have to be a literal calculator, but it's gazing at someone. So I think that this is going to be a person that calculates. Maybe it's an accountant or someone else who's got numbers on their mind. Gazed from behind the curtain at. What sort of curtain could that be? That could be a person on stage, perhaps at the side stage where they're peering onto someone who's in the middle of the stage doing some kind of act. A prismatic unicorn. I I like that though. I think that kind of goes together if we are interpreting. I'm starting to wonder if prismatic actually means something else. I haven't bothered looking it up in the dictionary, but to me, it's making me think of sparkling, refracted colours, which is quite unicorn-like in a way. You know, I think these words kind of go together, but it makes me feel as if the unicorn is made of glass or diamonds. Ooh, I wonder, is it a piece of artwork? And the tenacious calculator is someone who is an art dealer or a thief. An art thief who is thinking about stealing this incredibly valuable piece of artwork, the prismatic unicorn, flashing with light. As the lights from above hit it, it just sends a kind of glitter effect over everyone and everything in the room. And yes, there is some sneaking around going on here. I think this has to be a thief, because why else would they gaze from behind a curtain? Unless, of course, and this is still a little bit sneaky, if this tenacious art thief is sneaking in early before the official event where there's a reveal of this piece of artwork which is up for auction. Of course it is, to only really affluent people in the know about these things. He sneaked in early and is peeking underneath the curtain, or there'll be a curtain that is around, it's surrounding this unicorn sculpture, just to see whether it really is as valuable or as incredible and beautiful as people have said. Because there have been a lot of rumours leading up to this auction, and perhaps a lot of tension as different people are perhaps debating behind the scenes as to how valuable it really is. And maybe it's known that there is an art thief out there who's been stealing things from auctions. And so if everyone's a little bit on edge, how are they going to protect against this terrible art thief who's going around stealing everything? So, yeah, I wonder if as well, a tenacious calculator, he's good at what he does. He's a really good art thief. He's calculated what's going on, like what's the best chance of stealing something, and he is tenacious. He will not let this opportunity go if this unicorn is as valuable as he thinks it is. And so I think he's going to be employed as security, so no one will suspect him. And that's my final offer on this Exquisite Corpse. Right, let's go for one last Exquisite Corpse for today. We have, it's another one from me, which I probably have forgotten writing down. Dishevelled. Okay. So something less pristine this time. Let's see. This one's caught on my finger. Let that go. This is from, I think it's a Twitter ID, Magna Carta 1967. Transparent glowing orb. Again, this sounds something like something quite pristine and special, and yet it is dishevelled. Right, interesting. We've got more than one thing going at once. Okay, what is our action for this dishevelled, transparent, glowing orb? Upended the meaning of... Wow. Oh, sorry, I meant to read out who this is from. This is actually from Anonymous. Again, so upended the meaning of... That's really quite strange. let's just see what else we've got before we can start speculating what on earth this could mean. This is from Paul Thomas, Runaway. It's an interesting describing word. Noun, who or what was a runaway? This is from Laurie Alden Haluta again. Octopus. I love it. A runaway octopus. What can it mean? It doesn't even have legs, so how can it run away? We've got to make it work. Let me write it down and then I'll read out the whole thing. Okay, so we have the dishevelled, transparent, glowing orb upended the meaning of the runaway octopus. Oh. I'm not sure if the meaning of a runaway octopus really needs to be upended. It feels kind of upside down already. But I am reminded of something one of our regular listeners, Mariah, said a little while ago, which is you don't have to try and work out something built from the entire Exquisite Corpse. We can focus on some specific words here and there, so it doesn't have to end up quite so zany. I mean, the last two kind of potentially worked in their own way as stories. I can imagine having a go at writing those. But this one, perhaps we should be more flexible with this one, bearing in mind what it's presented us with. When I look at dishevelled, transparent, glowing orb, I'm just thinking of a brain. I don't know why. It's like a cartoon brain. And maybe that's because it upended the meaning of something. Runaway octopus. That is a really strange image of an octopus growing legs. Or just wanting to get away from something. Let's not be too literal about this one. How about the dishevelled, transparent, glowing orb is an alien brain, and it becomes dishevelled by trying to rethink the universe. There you go, that's one for your sci-fi fans out there. What exactly they're trying to rethink, or what is it they're trying to change about a planet they see? They see planet Earth in the distance and they go into it thinking, right, I want to take over this planet and I want to change everything about it. But then when it tries to learn everything first, it goes in, so it lands and takes on the form of a human to find out first what society is like, how everything works. It just wears it out. It becomes world weary and perhaps realises it cannot change humanity. It would just be too exhausting. So that's one possibility. Let's put that to one side. What about the octopus? An octopus trapped in a zoo, an aquarium, wants so badly to escape that it grows legs and runs away. I mean, and the middle part upended the meaning of, actually, in some ways, I mean, a lot of stories do that, no matter what they're about. They upend the meaning of something. A character starts out with a particular set of problems and they're unable to think their way out of it. They can't see any change. A bit like the alien looking at planet Earth. I definitely feel like that sometimes. But yeah, any story may lead to a change, and that's usually what I try and fit into stories. That's why I can't write flash fiction to save my life, because I feel like it's not a story. You even get these tweets where someone says, write a story in 5 words about this. I'm like, no. I have to stop myself from typing no thanks. That's not a story in my view, because there are some people who like to do that, and it's an art form of itself, of which I cannot participate. But there it is. Anyway, that's my... I'm wandering off now, meandering into strange alleyways now, but let's come back to the Exquisite Corpse. Dishevelled, transparent glowing orb. Now I've got this image in my mind of this octopus in a tank, and maybe this transparent glowing orb is just a light bulb just swinging from the ceiling ominously, because the room is otherwise dark. Why is it swinging? Because the octopus, and they are really intelligent beings, I understand. They've got they can think with their tentacles and things like that. They've got bits of their brain in different parts of their bodies. So it's used to reaching its thoughts out from rather than just one central place. Not that we humans experience thoughts in that way, but anyway, it's the idea that it has a powerful mind, and perhaps being stuck on its own in an aquarium, wanting so badly to escape, it develops the ability to move things with its mind, telekinesis. And so maybe it plots to frighten the person that comes in to feed it, or go in and, switch the lights off, do the final whatever it is they do in aquariums when they want to, the workers will come in, perhaps it'll be a cleaner, someone who's going to do the final rounds, switch off the lights, lock the doors, that kind of thing. But the octopus sees an opportunity. Maybe it's in love with their mop. It sees a bucket of water and thinks, I could travel in that. Is that too weird? Maybe it's too weird. I don't know. But work with me on this. So the janitor comes in, totally unsuspecting. Maybe he's a little bit freaked out by these creatures because they're not one of the regular workers, and octopuses are very strange creatures. And the light starts swinging from the ceiling, throwing shadows back and forth. The shadows are dancing against the walls. And the janitor thinks, what is going on here? And then when they're not looking, or maybe the octopus just does something, starts splashing or flinging things around the room now that it has learnt how to move things, that it knocks the janitor out. And then the octopus jumps into the bucket of water that they've brought with them. Hopefully there's no detergent in there that could seriously harm an octopus, possibly even kill them, and finds its way out by, I don't know, is it a bucket on wheels? Is that too convenient? It's just completely bonkers. But anyway, that's all I can really do with this particular Exquisite Corpse. So yeah, just to recap, we have the livid Lucifer didn't want to kill the deep android. Interesting idea of an android that may have a mind that can go to hell and back and challenge Lucifer himself, who doesn't want to kill them after all. And then a tenacious calculator gazed from behind the curtain at the prismatic unicorn. So perhaps, yes, I like this idea. This to me is probably the easiest to explore and draft, which would be about this art thief sneaking in and taking a look at this extremely valuable and expensive unicorn made from diamonds. He's definitely going to steal it. But what happens next? Does he get caught? And then finally, the dishevelled, transparent, glowing orb upended the meaning of the runaway octopus. Well, it's a tough one. Or maybe it's a tough three. There's just potential ideas in these. I don't know, octopuses are just such fascinating creatures. And they are they are a bit like aliens, aren't they? Because they're so, to us, they are such, strange, unusual shaped creatures. So interesting collection of Exquisite Corpses today. I hope you've enjoyed these weird and wacky ideas, and that maybe you'll get some kind of inspiration from this. As you know, I very much believe, or if you've listened before, you'll know I very much believe in giving yourself 20 minutes just to try writing about one of these ideas. And you might even just pick out a single word like runaway or transparent glowing orb. I mean, what could that be? That could be anything. Or a deep android. And just try writing. Just give it a go and allow your first draft to be rubbish, because many of mine certainly are. With that in mind, go forth and be inspired. I hope you enjoyed today's brainstorium. You can find out more about Exquisite Corpse and my series, The Book of Exquisite Corpse, at annatizard.com. Subscribe to my e-newsletter and you'll get Volume 1 for free. And while you're there, why not submit a few words to the Socks of Destiny on my play page? You may inspire me or inspire yourself to write a unique new story. See you next time.